Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're all doing well. Well, many of you probably heard about the UPS plane crash by now. Years ago, there was one by FedEx, and I actually had a package on that plane. I remember that. And, of course, I had to resend it. They did compensate me, but the bottom line is these things do happen. Now, in the case of UPS, it looks like one of the engines fell out of the plane. And from what I understand, I believe this plane had three engines and one dropped, and that's all it takes is for one to drop. And I mean, it's tragic. And unfortunately, people did lose their lives, but these are cargo planes, so they're not gonna have, over 200 passengers like some of your commercial airlines, but still, I think the last number I heard, it was 12 people that lost their lives. Man, that crash was explosive, and people that lived near the airport where it crashed all had to be evacuated. They had to get the people out of there because the flames just went everywhere. But you're about to see that in the video, and, it's really it's a shame, but this year, if you can think back, in fact, I can think of the live streams that I did with True Royal, where we were talking about plane crashes. One was in a neighborhood in Philly, not far from where I live and where my father used to work. And then it was another plane crash. It was a small craft. It was all kinds of tragedies this year. And a lot of it was due to Donald Trump and Elon firing people. And many of those folks were also air traffic controllers, which was a stupid move. Then, if you remember, then he tried to rehire them. Now, there is a situation with the traffic controllers, and I got another live stream coming up next on that. So many have stopped coming to work. They have to, just cancel thousands of flights across 40 airports. So it's pretty bad out here. All right, y'all, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I think whenever you see these plane crashes, it is so horrific. You just can't imagine how bad it could be. Okay, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Oh, yeah, Big Levi, he's really on top of all these kinda disasters and natural disasters too. He's really good. Shout out to Big Levi. Alright, y'all, let's get started.
fat boy. Bumped up like a... You hear what I say? I swear to God, they just took him down there to the ambulance. Look at that fire, bro. Look at that fire, y'all. Look at it. Let me get a little bit closer if I can. Yeah. Look at that there, man. This crazy, man. This is crazy. Never ever in my life, 62 years of life, I ain't never seen nothing like this, y'all. Look at that fire. It's starting to intensify down there.
And right here, it's all we did. It's the whole line. We just can't see it because of the smoke.
But things are still exploding.
Yeah, and it's still busting.
Man, it's crazy, y'all.
That fire truck.
Oh, that's a bad motherfucker right there. Let me see this. This is something new.
Yeah.
They done pulled up on the scene.
They pull a transformer fire truck.
Oh my goodness. This a bad boy right here. I'm gonna get off that fire truck. I want y'all to see this intense, thick, black smoke.
Man, look at that shit there,
This shit 30, 40,000 feet in the air, y'all. I swear. This is crazy. Y'all look at this. Louisville, Kentucky, Tuesday afternoon, 5:10, 5 p.m. UPS plane. UPS plane, y'all, exploded, not exploded, caught a fire, then it exploded. And we witnessed it. We witnessed it. As it was happening. This is like,
we seen it,
we saw it.
Hitting the ground.
Yes, sir. We seen it hit the ground and explode into what you're seeing now. And there are more explosions as I stand here and speak with y'all because, you know, like things is intensifying,
so
man.
It must be bad over
there. Oh, it
is
is bad over there.
Over here.
You know why? Because that's where the plane came down there. Yeah. So you know it's burning worse over there. I think one of them engines fell off over there to the left. That's where all that fire and smoke is coming from. I swear, man. Hey, this crazy, y'all. Grade Lane, 7200 Grade Lane, right across from Stooges Bar and Grill. If y'all familiar with that area, behind Ford and UPS plane. It looked like the plane was attempting to take off, and it got so far, and it caught a fire, and then it exploded. And this is what we have, and we witnessed this. I know it. What's up, little cousin? I'm in town, baby. I'm about to dip tomorrow, but I'm still here. For anybody else that's watching and know me, this is crazy. Yes, UPS plane, y'all, crashed, like literally caught a fire in midair. It was trying to go up. It caught on fire, then it exploded. And this is what we got. Look at this here, man. This crazy, y'all. And I tell y'all, this is crazy. It's crazy, y'all. As you can see, that's Stooges Bar and Grill right there. So you know we over here behind Ford, UPS. This is crazy, man. I'm trying to bring all y'all in if I can, but I don't know how to do it. I want y'all to see, though. This is insane, yo. If we'd have been, and this is no exaggeration, if we would have been 2 to 3 minutes earlier, I ain't even gonna say 2 to 3 minutes, I'm gonna say a minute and a half earlier, we might have got impacted on this, y'all. Me and my cousin, my partner. But that ain't got nothing to do with that plane catching on fire, though. Yeah, I see the tower. Damn, shit, now I think shit might be exploding over forward now. Oh, look at that there. You see that? Kind of hazard stuff. Yeah, man. Hey, man, I think that shit blowing up over at forward.
This was a 34-year-old MD-11 with 3 crew members, 2 pilots and a flight engineer on board. It appears something went catastrophically wrong as this plane was accelerating down the runway in Louisville. We're going to show you some video. It appears to show at least 1, possibly 2 of the plane's 3 engines on fire as it was in the process of taking off. Whatever happened, happened quickly. The plane did not stay in the air very long. It would have been loaded down with a lot of fuel.
Oh my God! Ay, papi, viste, te lo estoy diciendo, Dios mío. Ay, Dios mío.
Pero que... Vamos a ver.
Papi, cuidado.
Espérate.
Ay, Dios mío, señor.
You can imagine a jet full of fuel bound for Hawaii crashing like this would lead to a massive fireball. Now, we're going to show you some of this video, but we do want to let you know that some of these images might be disturbing for some people to watch. The plane crashed near Louisville International Airport, leading to a shelter-in-place order. Officials say the plane was loaded with 250,000 pounds of fuel, had 3 crew members on board. They say this was the plane's 3rd trip of the day, and it experienced some kind of engine trouble at takeoff.
There are more than 100 firefighters on the scene from across the region that are still here, that are working to make it safe for everyone in our community.
It appeared that there was a significant fire in one of the engines as the aircraft was racing down the runway to take off. Theoretically, the airplane should have been able to get airborne on 2 of its 3 engines, but it appears that that fire in one of the engines was so catastrophic, so well developed, that it may have prevented the aircraft from ever getting airborne.
UPS posting a statement after the crash saying its heartfelt thoughts are with everyone involved, adding that they will work tirelessly with state and local authorities on response efforts. Now, officials confirm there were no hazardous materials on board, but the crash could cause environmental problems. And while the NTSB is investigating what led up to this crash, Louisville's mayor says Muhammad Ali International Airport has reopened 1 runway this morning.
Horrifying footage shows the moment UPS flight 2976 en route to Honolulu, Hawaii, takes off Tuesday. Its left wing engulfed in flames. Seconds later, the cargo plane comes crashing down, erupting into a massive ball of fire. Officials say there were 3 crew members on board. A second video taken from a nearby vehicle shows the explosion setting multiple buildings on fire.
There was an accident on departure.
The sheer scale of the devastation was immense as firefighters worked to contain the fast-growing inferno, which ripped through an industrial area south of the airport and grew to the size of a city block.
This is an all-hands-on-deck response.
Kentucky's governor later confirmed the plane was full of about 38,000 gallons of fuel and smashed into at least 2 businesses, a waste management company and an auto parts store. At least 2 people are unaccounted for, and it's unclear how many were inside the buildings.
There was no specifically hazardous cargo on board of the plane that would create an environmental issue for those around the site, but the impact and where it impacted could create those types of situations.
The National Transportation Safety Board will lead the investigation into the cause of the crash.
This is extremely rare. You don't see these type of things hardly ever. The question will be for the investigators, what type of maintenance was being done on that left engine beforehand, in the hours beforehand, what type of maintenance history there was.
Now, the UPS facility here is called Worldport. It is the largest employer in the Louisville area with more than 20,000 workers. UPS issued a statement. I want to read you in part what they said. The company said it is working with state and local authorities on response efforts and halted package sorting operations here last night.
Call the UPS dispatch. They might have more info on it. And souls on board. Do you have any of that? Or is it UPS? No info on that. And it was UPS. Everybody, Roger.
Austin Radio, be advised there's been a large explosion off Fern Valley Road by the airport. Lots of black smoke. Chief Officer, we are receiving multiple calls for service for smoke in the area all around that appear that it's going to be related.
It's 81, engine 78, engine 178.76, .66, engine 65, and battalion 76. You're showing a possible explosion in Fern Valley and Gray Lane. We've got multiple calls. I got a UPS plane that possibly landed on a building.
After being cleared for takeoff, a large plume of fire in the area of the left wing occurred during the takeoff roll. The plane lifted off and gained enough altitude to clear the fence at the end of runway 17R. Shortly after clearing that fence, it made impact with structures and the terrain off of the airport property. A post-impact fire ensued, which covers approximately almost a half of a mile. And we have viewed airport CCTV security coverage, which shows the left engine detaching from the wing during the takeoff roll. This and other videos, along with evidence we are finding, are a very valuable asset to our investigators in helping us hone further which areas we were going to be focusing on as we move into further days of the investigation.
Some new information on that horrible plane crash in Louisville yesterday, the UPS plane. The flight data and cockpit voice recorders have been recovered. The NTSB says that the left engine was on fire and detached from the aircraft. It then did a roll, ended up, it looks like, on its top, exploding, spewing gas everywhere. Obviously, it was fully loaded with fuel, 36,000 gallons, nearly 250,000 pounds of fuel on that plane to get to Hawaii. The main runway is still closed. They have to make sure it's not damaged, make sure there's no debris on it. They have to check all the fuel, make sure there wasn't fuel problems with contaminated fuel that might have gone into other airplanes. 9 people confirmed deceased, including all 3 crew members, so at least 6 on the ground, people still missing. Just a horrible, horrible thing. This is an MD-11, an older plane, but still, these planes are meticulously maintained. We'll get more information. We won't get a final report, though, for at least a year, probably. But oftentimes, the first things that they say after they have some pretty good information is often what happened. We just don't know all the details yet. Just a horrible scene there.
This morning, devastating video showing the moment a plane crashed in Louisville.
So there was a huge explosion, believed to be a plane crash, huge fire and smoke. Arson 8 is responding as well.
Video showing the UPS cargo plane smoking. It crashed shortly after takeoff, creating a massive fireball, spreading to several businesses on the ground. The flight on its way to Honolulu took off from Muhammad Ali Airport, carrying about 38,000 gallons of jet fuel.
The scale of what's been called a catastrophic crash is becoming clearer. At 5:14 p.m. Eastern Time, UPS cargo flight 2976 from Louisville, Kentucky to Honolulu in Hawaii crashed on departure, triggering a massive explosion. It would have been heavily laden with fuel for that 4,500-mile journey. UPS said it was an MD-11 aircraft built in 1991 and had 3 crew members on board. At least 2 buildings on the ground were impacted, one of them a petrol recycling plant, and authorities said they feared the number of dead, injured and missing would rise.
Anybody who has seen the images in the video know how violent this crash is. And there are a lot of families that are going to be waiting and wondering for a period of time. We're going to try to get them that information as fast as we can. But if this is a family you know, please give them your support. Please give them your prayers. Please give them your love and be with them, because the toughest moments, and I can say it from personal experience, or when you're wondering whether that person that you know and you care about has survived something like this.
The debris is scattered over a mile, and although there was no harmful cargo on board, smoke from the flames could be seen billowing into the sky from miles away, and a shelter-in-place order initially extended to 5 miles north of the airport as far as the Ohio River. Air accident investigators have the grim task of ascertaining what went wrong on this flight, but the images from Kentucky will do nothing to allay fears that America's skies aren't as safe as they should be.
Here's a photo that is apparently of the engine from the UPS plane that crashed and killed 3 crew on board. There are 11 injuries so far, at least reported, and many buildings were set on fire. This was a McDonnell Douglas, a decades-old cargo plane that UPS has been flying, and there were apparently 280,000 gallons of fuel on board, but just incredible to see this engine that caused all of this mayhem shortly after takeoff. They were going so fast that they couldn't abort the takeoff, but they were also not able to really do anything, because when you have an engine fail on takeoff like that, it can be very catastrophic. And I feel terrible for everyone affected by this. If you are in the area, the smoke is toxic, so do not breathe it in. I do not want people breathing that in.
Rescue mission is underway in Louisville, where a UPS cargo plane crashed right after takeoff. And we are getting some new information, brand new information from Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who now says at least 16 families have reported loved ones unaccounted for. 16 families say they can't find their loved ones. Now, before the governor said that, we knew at least 7 people were believed dead. But the governor now says that death toll will likely rise. The plane tore through multiple businesses near the airport, among them a petroleum recycling plant that had tanks full of propane and oil. The plane itself was carrying more than 38,000 gallons of fuel, enough to last the 8-hour flight to Hawaii, where it was headed. The flames and smoke could be seen from miles away. A new photo appears to show the plane's debris scattered on the ground, including that which is believed to be one of the plane's engines. Let's get right to Louisville.
Boy, that was horrible, just looking at that. And they said they had to evacuate the people that lived near the airport because it was just so much smoke and flames everywhere. So they had to get out of their homes for a while and go to shelter. But it just goes to show you, y'all, this is just more judgment on America. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's more judgment on this place. But yeah, I mean, it could have been a lot worse, y'all, if they would have had a plane full of people and not cargo. It would have been a lot worse. So, the fatalities would have been a lot greater as well. So, wow. It seems like every year it's one of these planes that crash, and then the fire just goes everywhere. Remember the one that hit around Roosevelt Boulevard, and the houses on one side of the street just started going up in flames. I mean, it's just crazy the way these crashes are. So yes, it is a major shortage of airport staff in the country right now, and that's due to the government shutdown. I can imagine that's going to get far worse as holiday travel comes up. A lot of those folks ain't hardly want to get up, deal with them big old mobs of people for free. They're going to have a big problem on their hands, for real. So I have that coming up at 1:45. I hope to see you all back for my next live stream. Until then, y'all, let me say my thank you to G. Bowman Jr. in those days when he shall cast the calamity of fire upon you? Whither will you fly, and where will you be safe? Enoch, chapter 102, verse 1, Cepher. Yeah. And thank you again for another super chat, G. Bowman Jr. And where will you fly in the day, time of judgment, when you shall hear the words of the prayer of the righteous? Enoch chapter 97, verse 2, in Cepher. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your support for my channel. I deeply appreciate it. And on that note, y'all, shalom family. I'll see you at 1:45.